So next concept to be discussed is refraction through prism. We already talked about prism while discussing the concept of total interrefraction. Uh, we told the application of this prism in periscopes and where the process involved is a total interrefraction. So prism means which is an optical medium bounded by three rectangular faces and two triangular faces. So this is the shape of a prism. See, this is the shape. See, there will be three rectangular faces. See, this is a one rectangular face, lower one, another side, this side. So three rectangular faces. This is a one triangular face. This is another triangular face. That's why it is an optical medium bounded by three rectangular faces, two triangular faces, and that is known as a prism. So in that prism, we need to see the process of refraction. How does refraction takes place through a prism? And after seeing the refraction through the prism, can we define any equation to find the refractive index of this optical medium? We already know about the refractive index. Different mediums have different refractive indices. So then what will be the refractive index of this prism? Can we find it? Let's see. So this is a refraction concept, is refraction through the prism. Now we have to consider a equilateral prism. Prism A, B, C. Now we are incidenting a ray of light. At the point of incidence, we should draw a normal. It will undergo refraction in the surface AB. After refraction, it will pass like this, and again it will incident on the surface AC. Again, it undergo refraction. So this is a point of incidence at which we should draw a normal. See, these are the two normals: P, Q, R, S. Q will be right. This is P. Into RS. So this is the angle of incidence I. This is the, see, this is the, if I extended this incident ray, it will follow this path. And if I extended back the refracted ray, see, this is the refracted ray. Or you can say emergent ray, which is going out from this prism. That's why it is also called emergent ray. Emergent ray. Incident ray, refracted ray, or emergent ray. So if I produced backward the emergent ray, this will meet at a one point. That will meet at this point. Let me call, let me denote that point as M. Let it be M. So the angle formed between incident ray direction, emergent ray direction can be called as delta. Okay. So this is called as angle of deviation. See here, this is the actual direction of this incident ray. So that is deviating like this. Finally, this ray is moving like this in this direction. So by what angle it has diverged? by angle of delta. This is called as angle of divergence. Okay. So that is called as the angle of divergence. So this is the incident ray and this is the emergent ray. So the angle formed here is E. Okay, angle formed is E. This angle of refraction R1. Again here ray is incidenting. Let's write R2. This angle of incidence. This angle of emergence. It's also called angle of deviation. Angle of emergence. This is called angle of deviation. This is known as angle of deviation. So from this figure, we need to derive something. Our utmost interest is, or utmost aim is to find out the refractive index of this prism. Let's do this from figure. In figure, from figure, in quadrilateral, quadrilateral is, this is A, angle A, Q, M, R. So this is a quadrilateral and consider. In quadrilateral, Q, N, R. We know from the law of quadrilateral that sum of the opposite angles are equal to 180 degree. The sum of this opposite angle should be 180 degree. Sum of the opposite angle should be 180 degree. So the total angle of quadrilateral should equal to 360 degree. So I am taking angle A plus angle Q and R. A plus Q and R equal to 180 degree. Okay, 180 degree. Now let us do some more arrangements. Something we have to do here. See, this whole angle is I. What is this whole angle? See, these are the opposite angles, right? This whole angle should be I. If this is E, then the whole angle should be E itself. A part of this angle I is R1. So remaining should be I minus R1. Total angle is I, part of which it is R1. Remaining should be I minus R. Similarly, whole angle is E because they are opposite angles. Part of this E, R1. Remaining angle should be E minus R. So that is the angle. So in quadrilateral we got AQNR is equal AQNR, A plus QNR is equal to 180. Now let us consider triangle that is Q and R. We are considering the triangle that is Q and R. So from that what we can write is, in triangle Q and R, we can write, we know some of the angles, some of the three angles should be equal to 180 degree. So R1 plus R2, R1 plus R2, angle Q and R plus Q and R, which should be equal to 180 degree. Now we got two equations. Equation number 1, equation number 2. See here, both are 180, 180, Q and R there. So by equating this, from 1 end to what you can write? If you take the Q and R here, 180 minus Q and R. If you take the Q and R to this place, 180 minus Q and R. Here also 180 minus Q and R. Here also will be 180 minus Q and R. That's why what we can write? You can substitute. You can equate these three equations. That's why you will get A is equal to R1 plus R2. Hope you understood? Take the Q and R here. Okay? Take the Q and R here. Or you can subtract these two equations from 1 and 2. You can subtract or you can equate. Both you can do. That's why I am directly writing from 1 and 2, A is equal to R1 plus R2. So this is what we got here. So this is the angle A. That angle A is equal to R1 plus R2. Now, this is the one result we got. Let's write this as a equation number 3. Now, let us consider one more triangle, that is MQR. Triangle MQR. And to the triangle MQR, there is an angle delta. So it's angle of divergence or angle of deviation. So angle of deviation is delta. That is an external angle. So we know the law of triangles that external angle is equal to the sum of the interior angles. We can use that result here. Let me write in triangle MQR. In triangle MQR, exterior angle equal to sum of interior angle. Exterior angle is delta. Interior angles are I minus R1, E minus, this is R2, R2. Let me write over here. Exterior angle is delta. Interior angle is I minus R1 plus another interior angle is E minus. Now let us write delta is equal to, let us write I and E terms together, or let us open the bracket. If you open the bracket, I minus R1 plus E minus R1. Let us write I and E together. This is plus, this is also plus. Minus R1 minus R2. Take the minus outside. What will happen? R1 plus R2. See, minus R1 plus into minus R2 minus R1. You are getting the same. So that's why delta is equal to I plus E minus R1 plus R2. So can we substitute anything over here? Because we know that I plus E is equal to R1 plus R2 is equal to, which is equal to A. So I plus E minus A from. So this is the equation for angle of deviation. So I introduced, I give an introduction about the angle of deviation, that it is the angle between incident ray direction and emergent ray direction. That means the incident ray is diverging, it is deviating with an angle. That angle is called as an angle of deviation. And if you look at the equation for angle of deviation, delta is equal to I plus E minus A. So this delta is depends upon the is I and E. So we can see the symmetry of I and E from this equation. That means, for example, if you interchange the value of I and E here, for example, let's say E is equal to 40, I is equal to 60. As an example, we got value of angle of incidence is 60 degree, angle of emergence is equal to 40 degree. If you add these two, you will get if you subtract the value of A, you will get some values of delta. For example, if you let it be A is equal to 20. Okay, 60 plus 40, 100 minus 20, 80. And is the 80 degree is the angle of deviation. Let us interchange the values. Let us write I is equal to 40, then E is equal to 60. Let it be A is it is angle of the is prism. It is a constant one. 20. What happens again? 60, 40 plus 60, 100 minus 20. Again, you will get 80. See, if you interchange the values of I and E, that doesn't affect the value of this angle of deviation. That's why the I and E are have a symmetry. So this can be drawn in a graph. We can draw a graph showing the variation of angle of incidence, emergence as well as the angle of deviation. So let me write here. This is delta. This is I. Angle of incidence values. You can see different values. And if I take any one value of delta, angle of deviation, and if I draw like this, then we will get two values over this axis. One value is correspond to I, another value will be correspond to E. E means it is an angle of emergence. So this for one value delta we get two values, which is I and at this point what will happen is, okay, when to this point we get, or we can say I becomes equal to E. I becomes equal to E. See, this is the value of minimum deviation. See, this is the angle of deviation, and the value of this deviation is minimum at this point. And at that point, what happened is I become equal to E. See, this is the value of E. That's why we are getting the two values over there. So I becomes equal to E. Then what happened is angle of emergence become minimum, and that minimum value can be called as dm. Dm means what as a angle of minimum deviation. Angle of minimum deviation dm, at that condition I will be equal to E. So since we know that I and E have a symmetry from this equation, if we interchange the value of I and E, then the angle of deviation doesn't affect. So in other words, the meaning of interchanging physically is if the ray is passed from this direction, then we cannot see any difference in the angle of deviation. That means we can retrace the path traveled by the ray of light. Okay, this is the meaning. Since I and E have symmetry, the path of ray can be retraced. And at the minimum deviation condition, let us write that for minimum deviation condition, delta equal to dm. We got delta is equal to dm, I is equal to E. We'll get I is equal to E. At the minimum deviation condition, what will happen is this R1 will be equal to R2. R1 will be equal to R2. I can simply, or as a general form, I can take R. So using this result, we can manipulate, we can change this. Let's write equation number 4. Now 4 implies delta is equal to, we should write dm, which is equal to I plus E. So let me write in the place of E also, I can write I. So 2I, then minus E. So I is equal to, we know the value of I, Take the a here, a plus dm, 2 is there, it should divide that term. 2y is there, it should divide a plus dm by 2. Now we got the value for I. Now, we know one more equation, which is the second equation. Actually, I rubbed over here, it was written there. And that equation was a is equal to r1 plus r2. We know that r1 is equal to r2, it is equal to r. So from 2 implies 2r is equal to a, r1 plus r2 is equal to a. So r equal to a by 2. So this is the equation number 5, this is the equation number 6. So if we set the rays incidenting at small angles, or after when the rays incident on the surface of this prism, which making a very small angles. For small angles, let us apply the Snell's law. For small angles, small angles are very small. Snell's law, n1i is equal to into r. See, this is the n1. This has refractive index n2. This is again has the refractive index n1. n1i into r. What is the value of I from this r? I need to write this one for small angle. Let us write later, because we need to do that for thin prisms. From Snell's law, n1 sin I is equal to sin. n1 into sin I, sin of a plus dm by 2, or you can write this way also. From Snell's law, you can write n21 is equal to sin I by sin r. And simplifying, that's all. n21 is equal to sin I sin of a plus dm by 2 sin r, which is equal to a by 2. Okay, this is the equation to find the refractive index of this prism. See, n2 divided by n1, n21 is equal to n2 by n1. What is the value of n1? n1 is refractive index of the air, and the refractive index of the air is equal to 1. Value of refractive index of air is 1. So that's why in the equation n2 by n1, we will n2 by n1, the value of n1 is equal to 1. That's why you get n2 equal to sin of a plus dm by 2 divided by sin m by 2. n2 means what? It is the refractive index of this medium. That's why you can simply write this as a m is equal to sin of a plus dm by 2 divided by sin of a by 2. This is for refractive equation for refractive index of the prism. Since the angles are so small, then what will do? If the angles are small, for thin prisms, angles are small. Angles are small, then we know the equation for this n. n is equal to, we can write a plus dm by 2 divided by a by 2. Okay, a by 2. Let us inverse this. So that's why n is equal to a plus dm by a. You can write this way. See, if we inverse this, you can write 2 by a. So 2 cancels. You left with a plus dm by 2 by a. That's what I have written. A plus dm by 2. So now take the denominator to each term. A by a 1 plus dm by a. So take the 1 to this place, that becomes n minus 1. A by a 1, take the 1 over here, n minus 1. Here we have dm by a, so dm is equal to a into n minus 1. So this is the equation to find angle of deviation. dm is equal to a into n minus 1. So this is about the concept of refraction through prism. This is very important for the point of view of